it'd be great to see some more people in Glenwood if they're interested. It's about getting networks and contacts in the community.
Hi, I'm Carlene Hall. Welcome to Mills County Roots. I'm celebrating a new sponsor tonight. Welcome, Travis Waldstein.
Well, thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Good to see you too. So we're
This is a Friday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Editions.
So we're kudos to Iowa beer.
Yep. Farmer beer, Midwest beer.
Iowa football.
Yeah, Hawkeye football. That's right. Yeah, better than that. So.
And the American flag.
There you go. So red, white, blue. So.
Oh, that's right. Well, Travis, thank you. Thank you for coming along, and thank you for sponsoring Mills County Roots. And thank you, you know what, most of all, for your friendship.
Oh, not a problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When I first came to Council Bluffs, I met you, and we developed a friendship. I think somebody thought we weren't going to get along, but surprise to them.
I get along with about anybody. So I believe it or not, underneath this growly skin and the big voice, I usually get along with. So we get along just good.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I have a lot of respect for you, Travis. You are a veteran and have served our country, and thank you for your service.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So,
and
got two boys that are Marines too. So
that's right.
We have a fight in the house. I'm the sailor in the family, and they're the Marines. So I've been told that we were the Uber for the Marine Corps. And I said, I remind you, I might be the Uber, but I also had the F-18s to save you. It was maybe a little bit more colorful than that, but you kind of get the context of the conversation.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have you on today because earlier today, we're recording on Friday, and this will air next week. But also today, we aired a show of a presentation by the Mills County Historical Museum on the USS Iowa battleship.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
Apropos.
It's still in Long Beach, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it's in Long Beach, California. It used to be stationed in Long Beach, California. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I know the Midway is at San Diego.
Yep, in the Midway.
So I don't, and that one's, I've been on that one actually.
Yes, I have too.
Yeah, that's kind of, but you know what really surprised me? Going on that ship, I don't know what I expected, but I was overwhelmed by hydraulic oil smell when I walked on there, and it made everything a reality to me about you guys being out there in the water on those ships and those boiler rooms and that everything you were living in as far as the smell of the hydraulic fluid and everything that was going on and being way out there on the water, that's
I was on the Kitty Hawk, so to kind of get you an idea. So the Kitty Hawk was the next series up from the Midway. So when we went out and toured it, I was able to talk to my boys about, my sons about the catapults, how they worked, how everything kind of went on the ship. It's an older version, but it's a similar style to it. And you're right, the hydraulics, the smells. You're sleeping downstairs about six levels down in the berthing, and you can hear the catapults taking off, and then then they're coming in and catching the plane. So you can hear the arresting gear those catching the plane. So you're sitting there, and that's what you're sleeping to is that noise at night. So and of course, everybody talks about the asbestos too, but they'd have the child lines. I mean, if you've never experienced boat life, carrier life's different than being on a submarine. But so we talk about the Midway. I was able to explain in detail how I had an F-14 blow me over the side with 14 chains, and there's a net that catches you there. and I landed in a net. All you had was
Really?
And they like, that's like 80 foot down, Dad. I said, yeah, and I was out in the middle of the Persian Gulf when this happened.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's like.
So the net is in the water?
It actually goes around the outside of the top of the flight deck. So so if you and they have on the midway they kind of have a chain that goes around, so you can't get that close to the edge, but you can see it. And here's the deal: that net rusts out a lot.
Oh.
So it's like, it's one of the deals. So like under every 1 or 2 Westpacks, they have to change that netting out because it's a safety component, but to try to get somebody before they do get blown over. But when you're talking jet exhaust, jet blast, I mean, you get a F-14 or F-18 that's, throttle just to turn on the flight deck. You're taking a, 40,000 pound airplane and needing to get to swing 180 degrees. It takes a lot of horsepower to do that. So,
Well, I want to know how they got you out of that net.
One of my buddies saw me actually, and he threw down a chain, like I said, to me, and we pulled, and he pulled me up, and he just kind of let me the fun. I don't know. It's funny now, but at the time, our favorite thing used to be is in our squadron. I worked in what they call the line checker. They call us the brown shirts. We have another name for them, which I won't go into on
Thank
here.
you.
Yes, but brown shirts, and so so he threw me a chain, and so I was able to pull myself up that way, but. If you're on the flight deck, it's, you're always on a swivel because you never know. Do you have a helo? Do you have prop? They got, the prop planes at that time was E2C Hawkeye. They'd have, and so, for.
You have to go back and explain to me what helo is.
A helicopter.
Oh, a helicopter.
Yeah,
okay.
So you have helicopters, you got prop planes, you got.
Together.
Yeah, you've got all kinds of different aircraft. You have on the flight deck anywhere from 60 to 70 aircraft at any time, and it's organized chaos is what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me about those things and your experience because, as you know, I'm all civilian. I've never served, but my heart is to serve veterans who've served.
Yeah.
And that's been, as I say, a drum I have beat all through my life, and it's a drum I'll beat the rest of my life. And I'm very grateful to have raised my children in the USA and have them have the opportunities that they've all taken good advantage of and made something of their lives, and I'm very grateful. And it's because of men and women like you. I should say women and men like you, so it doesn't get twisted around.
Yeah, it's like, but at the time it was kind of interesting because a couple things happened. Well, number one, when I was the first integrated in the first 4 integrated companies in the United States Navy. So what that means, when we went through boot camp, there was men and women in the same company. So if you had 50, we had like 75 people. We had 15 women with 85 guys that went through boot camp. And this was brand new to the Navy. And so we got to be the game, and everybody was watching us. It's like, oh boy, here we go. Of course, they'd have their berthing, the women have their berthing on the other side, and then the men would have it on this side. But it was, we had the chief of naval operations come out for a graduation. And then of course, it was at the end of the Persian Gulf War. I mean, most of the war conflict was done, but then Christmas Day, we did a Westpac from November 92 to May 93. And of course, we had a presidential change at that time, because Bush 41 left and Bill Clinton took over as president. So, on Christmas Day, 1992, we're sitting a mile and a half off the coast of Mogadishu, Somalia. Out in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Well, we weren't in the middle. We were right next to the coast of Africa, but we were close enough that we could hear gunfire in the middle of Mogadishu. You had the warlords fighting.
Wow.
And we were there trying to develop. We tried to start a land base, and the carrier was there for the week, and then Saddam decided he wanted to get a little bit funny before Bush 41 left office. So we went to the Persian Gulf, and we spent about better part 2 months there on flaps, and we ended up bombing them. We ended up doing live operations just before Bush 41 because he was trying to pull some funny stuff with the no-fly zone, and we had to remind him that who owned the airspace there.
Gosh.
So it was definitely interesting. I got to spend 10 days of land ops in Bahrain. The good part about Bahrain is you work 10-hour days, and you can go to town and go to the bar, and you can drink beer, and you can eat calamari.
I like calamari.
Why? And I was like, every day is like we're taking that 30-minute bus ride to town and say, can't do this on the carrier. But it was fun. I had a good group of squadron buddies, and of course, the Airedales, as you called them, the ship's company hated the Airedales because ship's companies there all the time. We get back into port, we go back home to Lemoore, but we hung around with a bunch of the Marines. Of course, I got two boys that are Marines. Oh yeah, the Marines were fun to hang around with.
Oh yeah.
So
I was raised by one. So it wasn't always fun. I'll guarantee you that.
Listen, I got two in the house. Believe me. I ask them if they eat lead-flavored crayons once in a while. But like I say, I know what they ate growing up, so they might eat crayons, but I don't think they were the lead flavored. Now the windows, I can't say in our original house, so they could have had a little bit of lead in their life. So.
Yeah. The only thing that I can relate to military service is being raised by a Marine. When everything wasn't just in the place, when he decided it needed to be in the place, I scrubbed baseboards with a toothbrush.
Oh, yeah.
And all the dishes got jerked out of the house, out of the cabinets in the middle of the night if there was a dirty glass in the sink if he came home.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to get up in the middle of the night and wash all the dishes and then get up and go to school. So.
Oh, that'd be terrible. But yeah, you growing up in a house like that, you basically lived in it. It's like I told my youngest son when he went to the Marine Corps, because he does air traffic control in the Marine Corps. And I said, if you can deal with Jim Duggan as your football coach and your mom, you'll have no problem getting through boot camp. Because my boys went to Lewis Central.
Oh, okay,
so,
okay.
And of course her mom's 5'2", Red Dragon, and Jim Duggan's nickname was Red Dragon for the players in high school. So, and then he had to deal with his older brothers. He had twins.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we spent a lot of days. So talk about Mills County a little bit.
Yeah.
I've got like 4 guys that live in Glenwood. So, I am a councilman shop, but I got 4 employees that actually live right in the town of Glenwood.
Well, that's wonderful. That's awesome.
And so we're, as far as Mills County go, does Air Service Kids Plus, do we do a lot of work in Mills County? Absolutely. Because I'm 4 miles from Mineola. I'm closer to Mineola than anything else.
Yeah.
And then you get down into Mills County, in Lake Ohana down there. We're down there all the time.
Oh,
but
good.
so,
Yeah.
I got a place to work down there, live down there, pay taxes down there in there. And so, although my address doesn't say Glenwood, big part of the reason that I'm in business with Air Serv we started in 2009 was because of this area, Potawatomi and Mills County, and it's how different it is to working over in Nebraska, and the people and the clientele, you sometimes have to deal with the Nebraska fans, but it's good being here. But there's we have a lot of good customers, a lot of good relationships, down there with contractors and other people we've worked with.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, we're happy to have you on Mills County Roots. Very happy to have you. So let's talk a little bit about your family has 2 businesses.
Yes.
Waldstein Plumbing.
Yep.
And then Air Serv.
Heating and air conditioning. So, and my background is HVAC, heating and air conditioning. Okay. I've done a lot of plumbing, but what I like to do personally is heating and air conditioning. I got in this trade because my uncle back in 1994, my uncle was in the trade. I got out of high school. There was no money in farming. All my friends were, I should say I graduated in 91 from high school, but everybody was there was no money in farming. Half my friends were auto mechanics. I left for the Navy, and I'm like, I don't want to do any one of them 3 things. So, get into the Navy. My uncle was doing it down in Texas. I said, okay. I spent some time with him growing up. Said, okay, so we're going to get to this. And then I went to college up in Mason City, up at Nyack, North Iowa Community College. Okay. We had a class of 6 guys that went through the HVAC program at that time. And actually, one of my buddies from that class is the instructor up there to this day, Jason Ott. He's a great guy. But then after college, we tried moving back to Spencer because that's where I grew up. And after being gone for 4 or 5 years and moving back to my hometown, you know what? I needed to leave my hometown. It was just, growing up, it was just, I needed something different. And I sent applications to Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, Omaha, and Lincoln. and I was hoping to get up. Of course, being a Hawkeye fan, I wanted to get over to Cedar Rapids, but there was nothing there. So the first two places, a company here in Omaha and one in Lincoln, that offered me jobs. So I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm going south, and worked for a year over in Omaha, and then came over to Council Bluffs and worked for a company called ABC, JJ Heating and Cooling at the time, and they did a ton of new construction work down in Glenwood. Probably, I'd say 70% of their work at that time was in Glenwood with Mark Hughes, Rich Gottschall. I'm trying to think. They did a little bit with the Bloom Brothers. They did, there's still some of them builders around today. Some of them passed on, but that's where I kind of cut my teeth, as far as from a customer service and getting to know. And so, I was there till 2004. Left, went and worked for a company in Omaha. And then in 2009, I'd been looking since 2007, but in 2009 we opened up AirServe, and that was, one part of the reason was, to be able to do work in Potawatomi, Mills County, and with where I live on 204th and Pioneer Trail. I'm literally 3 miles from the county line.
Right.
So I'm actually, you go down to Applewood, you're right there on the line. So, so that's how I got an HVAC, and then we decided I started paying my franchise royalties, and I should have gotten into plumbing 10 years ago as far as a business, but you know what? I don't like snaking toilets. I'll call for what it is myself. I used to do plumbing service. I did love doing it. But, we started 2 years ago, Waldstein Plumbing, and my son Hayden's running it. He worked with me in high school, and then when he went to the Marine Corps, he did a lot of utilities. So he dealt with water distribution, wastewater. He did some HVAC with that too. Of course, he worked for me in high school. So, coming out of the Marine Corps, doing that, came into work, and he's done a lot of stuff with boilers and hydronics and running water lines and sewer lines. And when it comes to some of that stuff, there's things he knows more than what I do because he did it through the Marine Corps. And now with the plumbing side of things, he actually carries a plumbing and mechanical master's license for Iowa.
Okay.
So and him and me are partners in the plumbing side of the business. And technically we are an HVAC side, but he pretty much runs plumbing, and I kind of run the HVAC side, and it's been fun. I'll tell you, I'm having more fun now.
Oh, that's
than
good.
I ever have.
Yeah.
Everybody. I'm 52, and everybody's talking about retiring, and I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? I'm having fun. It's like,
life's just beginning, right?
It's like I'm retired. What am I going to do? Sit at home and do Ancestry with my wife, and go live in her van for a month at a time and garden.
Oh, that sounds like heaven to me. Maybe I should go live with your wife.
The problem is my wife was doing the reason bed. She wants me like to move stuff and move fence posts, and I'm like, I can handle the chickens. She wants meat rabbits, and I'm going, okay.
Oh.
Some of that stuff.
I need to meet her. She sounds like my kind of gal.
Oh yeah, she's if you drive 240th Street, you drive by a place, you'll see her 40 by 120 garden. We got the chickens running all over.
I've done all that, butchered rabbits, and
she wants to do the whole production meat rabbit, but here's the deal. She wants to raise them. She wants me to kill them. So it's so I get to do the dirty work.
Yeah. So, that was the hard part for me. But there was an older gentleman who lived out in the hills in Fremont County, and his name was Sylvester Rickabaugh.
I've heard of that.
Have you heard of Sylvester?
I've heard of them, yeah.
And Sylvester raised goats, and he raised rabbits.
Yeah.
One thing about Sylvester is he played the fiddle.
Okay.
And so I made friends with him, and we made friends with him because my daughter was allergic to cow's milk, so we were trying goat's milk. Right?
Yep.
So Sylvester milked goats, so we went to get goat's milk, and I had raised goats as a kid too, and rabbits and chickens and cows, and milked cows by hand and the whole 9 yards. But anyway, so got to be friends with Sylvester, and he would come over and play his fiddle, and I'd play rhythm guitar for him, and we had just a great time. But he's the one who showed me how to kill rabbits pretty humanely.
Okay.
And yeah, I won't go into that, but but it's still not something that was enjoyable to me. And the same way with chickens, I never wanted to do the butchering and listen.
We do layers. We don't do meat chickens. We do layers. We got 30 some chickens. We got eggs every day. Yeah, because that was what I told too. And I'm like, I got 2 full-time jobs too. Like I don't need.
Don't have time to pluck chickens.
Yeah, although anymore for what it is, you can send it. You can send them off for what it is.
There used to be a lady, I don't know if she's still around, the chicken lady would come around all over southwest Iowa and butcher your chickens. Yeah.
Well, yeah, when they can do it for $1 or $2 a chicken, it's not worth you getting dirty to do it. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, can I do it? Yeah. Do I want to do it? No.
It's awful. Scald your fingers, dipping them in the scalding water, and no, thank you.
No, I'll pass. But
your wife sounds like a very cool lady. What'd you call her? The Red Dragon?
Yeah, Red Dragon, 5'2" redhead. Yeah. And she's definitely a full Red Dragon, and of course, my Hayden kind of got that red hair too. Yeah.
Okay.
You
don't want to mess around over at your house.
No.
You'll get straightened out right quick.
And then of course he's got, Hayden's got twin boys that are 18 months, and one of them's red. Of course, I made the mistake one day. I said, I don't like too many things red except for my wife because she's got red hair. Because, and then my daughter-in-law reminds me, well, what about Harrison? I said, okay, I got to rephrase this whole comment a little bit. So is
that a grandson?
Oh yeah, I got Harrison and Emmett. They're my grandsons. So yeah, my daughter-in-law had Harrison, and it was daycare. She didn't want to cut his hair. And the hair was like down to here, and way down, and in the back it's still long. And I sent her a picture about 2 weeks ago. I said, get the Jennings Dunker hair, dude. And if you know Jennings Dunker, he played for Iowa. Basically had the shaved side. He had the curl on the top and the back. He had the full mullet going. So she finally went and got him a haircut last. Said full mullet. And
she did.
Finally, I'm like, thank you. So. But,
oh my goodness! Yeah, it's hard to cut their hair because when they're little, whether they're a boy or whether they're a girl, that hair is just so pretty. It's just. Oh
yeah. I'm like, but I said, she's like, well, I gotta let go. It's so cute. I'm like, no, of course, the call for what it is. I said, he's a boy, so gotta have the hair. And of course, he's honoring like his father and his grandfather, so it's all good. So,
plus red hair like grandma.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of stuff going on in Mills County. I mean, you obviously show about Mills County. A lot of stuff going on in Glenwood right now. So
gosh, I've been focusing on Malvern quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's so progressive. It's really progressive, and there are a lot of new businesses and a lot of artists converge there, and so it's a great art community. The banker down there is very supportive of economic growth, and it's really showing. I've been in Mills County for 20 years, but I've been in Malvern for 10 years now, and the changes that I've seen over 10 years are just amazing. There was an old building down there, for example, that I think it was 30 years dilapidated, just sat there 30 years, and Kohl's Pharmacy came in.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Of course, they had the fire with Mulholland's, but they rebuilt. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
Plus, right there, I don't know if it's actually on the fairgrounds or at the fairgrounds. It's been there for 4 or 5 years now, but it's kind of like a community building. Yeah. That's a heck of a building. I've been down there for a couple wedding receptions, and like I said, you go down the Mills County Fair. I'm a big tractor pull guy. I like going down for tractor pulls.
Okay.
So I used to belong. There used to be a two-cylinder club down there. I don't know if they're still very involved, but I was a member of that.
Were you? So you must know my friend Lowell Miller.
Yes.
You know Lowell?
Yeah. So,
Okay, Arnold Hall.
Yeah.
That's my former father-in-law. That's where I get my name Hall.
Okay.
And I'll be darned. Yeah, did you go to the tractor pulls down at Tabor for Farmer Merchants Picnic?
I did. I know.
got there?
I did it. You know, being for, you know, me being from Northwest Iowa, being from Spencer, the Clay County Fair has been huge in my life.
Oh yeah, sure.
So if anybody knows Clay County Fair, it's after the Iowa State Fair, and you know, it's more ag fair. So of course, and I like green paint. You know, like I said, I like green.
Okay.
I like green paint. You know,
Okay.
I like green football teams and the Packers. You know, once I said, you know, we don't like anything red. We don't like red football teams. We don't like red tractors. You know.
Oh my
goodness. So
goodness.
there's a whole sentiment to this whole paint scheme stuff. But yeah, huge into two-cylinder. I love the two-cylinder stuff. Not involved as I used to, but I'm going to tell you, I don't know how well it's marketed, but there is a place off of Highway 34 between Glenwood and Red Oak. It's about 78 miles to where they have a whole museum. There's 3 buildings that's down there, and I've been down in through that thing 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah.
Going back, you know, and I even like to go back to like some of the Thresherman days. So like Albert City, you know, they had up there they have the Thresherman days, and they got some stuff down there. None of it's running when you're down in the middle of winter time.
It's on the south side of 34?
Yeah, south side of 34.
Yeah.
That's actually a really cool facility, and most people are like, well, they're old tractors, who cares? But for people that are into it and like history,
you bet.
That's one of the neater places, I think, in Mills County personally.
Yeah, well, I learned a lot about tractors when I moved to Southwest Iowa. My children's dad and his dad were into collecting two-cylinder John Deeres. And I learned a lot about them. And mostly what I learned about them is that if somebody saw one in the weeds going down the road, you better be prepared before you bump your face on the dash when they slam on the brakes.
Yeah. And back in the 80s and early 90s, you're not going to find them out there anymore.
I know,
But back at that time, you'd be like, oh, there's an old A or a B or a G.
You got a tree growing up through it.
Old farm.
Seized up. I've even actually physically started a tractor by flywheel myself. Yeah. Also, this is funny, when I was pregnant with my son, down by Malvern, they had plowing event.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to that plowing bee?
I've been to quite a few of them, actually.
Well, we had a John Deere D.
Okay.
On rubber.
Okay,
On rubber. And that's a big tank of a tractor.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Wide front end, wide back end.
Yep.
Anyway, but we didn't, it wasn't on iron wheels. It was on tires, So
if you're on the field, iron's okay, but if you're on the road, iron's terrible. It's
And let's see, what all we have a hold of there? We had a 60 and a 70, and I can't even remember everything that A and a B, and I always wanted a little H because I felt like that was just my right size.
Yeah.
You could put a little belly mower on it and mow or whatever, but I never, I don't think we ever found an H.
Yeah. See, my favorite tractor of all time that John Deere ever built, I really touched the 4020. I like the old 720 John Deere diesel with the pony start. I think the pony start, I know people, because I think that little pony start that he used, the kickstart that 720 diesel is one of the neatest things ever. And I don't know why. There's that. But it's just like the technology, the engineering that had to go through some of that stuff at that time to make farming innovative that they came up was pretty cool. Yeah,
I think my father-in-law, or Lowell, had a 620 and a 720, and were there more in that 20 series?
There's 620 and 720. There was a 730. Okay. I think there's a couple 800 series too. But, the 720 and 730 seem to be pretty popular in this part of the country. So, Well, I was going to tell you the story about being down there at the plowing bee. I was like 8 months pregnant and on the John Deere D with a
with a 3-bottom plow behind me, plowing it.
You're plowing and you got a catcher in the front. Just in case the tractor start getting labor.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't very smart, but it was fun.
Well,
you know.
you know.
That's a bouncy field down there. It's down there on the bottom between Malvern and gosh, like you're going over to it used to be 184. I don't even know what L60 something now. I think they call it.
Yeah, I know.
L63 or something.
What you're talking about.
It'll always be 184 to me.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. But anyway, yeah. So that was my antique tractor experiences.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun chapter of my life.
Oh, absolutely.
Most of the time, unless my face was in the dash from
hey,
him slamming on the brake.
Hey, you see something important, you got to do what you got. It's kind of like my wife going by an antique store or a garage sale. Got to hit the brakes. Oh my goodness, holy cow, gotta stop.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, it's really nice to have you here. It's nice just to have a comfortable conversation on a Friday afternoon and share a brew with you. And again,
I was going to bring some Hawkeye beer, but I didn't get a chance to go to Hy-Vee's. So. But I'm supporting Scott Dahl and Dahl Distributing. So so
you're such a schmooze.
Yeah, hey, you gotta do whatever you do. So but no, I mean I think it's great. Because with Mills County in particular, having lived down here since '96, knowing the area, knowing that it's they have the newspaper down there. Obviously, you have Key and Mayo, Shenandoah, but there's a lot of stuff always going on down there, but there's not a media source per se. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think what you're doing is fantastic with that, because you're able to go talk to people out in the communities, find out stuff that's going on, whether it's in PJ, and obviously PJ got hurt by the flood, but there's parts of the town that are coming back.
Yeah, they
Glenwood is evolving, which is always good. I know they had the issue with the hospital closing, but the town is still surviving and they're making changes. You talk about Malvern, you talk about Silver City, Henderson. All them towns,
Hastings.
Yeah, they're alive. And here's the thing, those are all towns, areas we service. So
right.
I love Council Bluffs, I love Glenwood and in town, but frankly, I relate a lot better to the farmers and the old people in the small town, because that's what I grew up around.
Right.
So it's a lot easier for me to go talk to the 85-year-old farmer. Talk HVAC, and then we'll talk about life in general versus it gets boring talking about HVAC and plumbing after a while.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the reasons you and I hit it off real quick, is because I've always been in small towns. I tried big towns. Mm-hmm. I moved my kids to Southern California for a very short time, and we came back right. We came back right quick in 6 months. And I'll tell you, the traffic was enough for me. And I was driving a Ford Taurus at the time. Okay. And I said, we're either putting a bale fork on the front of this or I'm going home.
I have seen that in front of a Taurus, yes. Just for the record.
So we came on back home, and I'm glad we did. We moved to Missouri for a while, and that was great. But we moved back up here to Southwest Iowa in 2006, and I've stayed since. And I think that's the third time I've left and come back to Southwest Iowa, and it just has become home. I love it. These are wonderful people in Southwest Iowa, and it just fits.
Do I need to call you Boomerang?
Boomerang. No, well, that's a good idea. Yeah, Iowa Boomerang.
There you go.
It's better than some things I've been called. Travis.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I hear you. And I sit here thinking, another thing we got in common. I don't know if we necessarily belong to it, but we have a group that we get together every Wednesday down at S&B Dog Kennel. Of course, that's right there on 37 in Mills County.
S&B Country Kennel.
Yeah. Joe Huntoon. If you haven't been by that dog kennel, he's got a great business.
It is amazing.
And
it is amazing.
It's a business group where we got 15 to 25 business professionals every morning at 6:30. It's a blue collar network. So that you've been to several times.
Yes.
I try to get to. It's a great group to network and get to know people. I know Gitsy Loader from the chamber down in Glenwood. I know she's been up to it once or twice.
Okay.
And it'd be great to see some more people in Glenwood if they're interested. It's about getting networks and contacts in the community.
Yeah.
So
there's a guy down at Malvern that I've invited. I need to call him again, but Blake Starner down there in Malvern.
I've heard of him.
You know Blake? And I'd like to get him out to that group because I think he'd fit in. I think it would do him a lot of good. But I try not to miss that group because I want to tell you, I love the networking groups, but that's my favorite.
I belong to one here in town, to Council West Business Connection. I've been a member for that for a long time.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this blue collar networking group, it's tough because honestly both are good in some of the contacts I've made from both groups, but it's kind of a don't miss opportunity.
The things that Miguel Nunez pretty much he leads it for us, but he comes up with ideas for us to talk about. And then we go around the room and everybody gives their take on the subject, and it's really good. And sometimes things get really down to the level of our families and our belief systems, and it's just it just feels like a really tight-knit group. It feels like it's very supportive. There's a lot of business dealings among the networkers who are there. Everybody supports each other's businesses, and I just love it. It's almost like a weekly therapy, kind of a go in there and get built up kind of a thing.
Well, and Drake Roller's been in that group. I know you've had Drake on.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, that poor kid, he's a Marine, and he had my cousin coach him in high school. That poor kid's never going to survive. He got coached by a cyclone and don't know squat about football. Did I say that about my cousin? I'm sorry. But Drake lives out in Carson, but he's out, doing work in all those small towns, in Padua.
He's amazing. That's how I met Drake. He was working across the street from me, and when I met him, he's compassionate, he's kind, he's diligent about his work. He's what do I want to say? He just makes sure that he does everything right. He caters to his customers, and yes, he's a part of that group. And I have a lot of respect for Drake, and I wonder if his baby's born yet.
Oh, I forgot about that.
They're supposed to be having a baby any day now. So
but I know, I know he's kind of out. He's pretty much mostly out in the rural areas too. And like I said, the point is, there's a lot of good people in Southwest Iowa, and for the areas that you're hitting, I think it's an area that's been underserved by the media for a long time. So I think it's pretty cool what you do, and the fact that you're beating the snot out of your counterpart as far as numbers is even better. Yeah, I'll throw that dig in there too, and be like, thanks.
Well, speaking of respect, I have a lot of respect for Todd Studer and what he does. He's been in the media industry for a lot of years, and this whole local media thing, local podcast media, was his idea.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, brand new idea, brand new concept, and it's going well. And you know what I love about this, Travis? When I'm talking to people, it's like there is a hope that comes into the conversation for the area. There is a depth of people just being naturally themselves, having conversations, and I say it's like people get to make friends with you before they ever have to call you for your services.
Well, I have a lot of friends that ain't necessarily customers, but if they need something, you can't be all about business all the time. It's about relationships. And to what you said about Todd, I mean, I've known Todd for quite a while, and before this really became a reality with what he's doing with local stream media, I have a nickname for him off record, but I'm not going to go there. So I do it just to pick on him.
It's a play on words.
Yeah, it's definitely a play on words. But, I'm going to tell you, when we talked about this probably a year and a half ago, because he was talking about how can we develop this into an app and get like the schools and this and that, and to see kind of what he was talking about. I mean, we're sitting there having a beer one day talking about this, and I said, well, what about this and what about that? And honestly, he's taking kind of that idea that was in his head and kind of talked and whatever, and with what you're doing there with yourself and Kyle and Todd, I mean, kind of taking that brainstorm of an idea and is doing some very positive things as far as putting focus locally, which is desperately neat, because look, the paper, I mean, don't get me started on the newspapers, and the TV stations, it's 3, 6, and 7, and if you're like me, you're not watching. I get more news out of the Glenwood scanner or Council Bluffs scanner than you do the local news.
The thing about it is, it's available 24/7 once it's out there with the internet. You can watch it on your phone, your computer. Some people use their televisions as monitors now, and I think the other media still have their place. They still have a lot to offer, but this is unique, and this is not appointment reading. It's not appointment watching. It's available wherever you go.
You don't have to run 3 minutes commercials every 10 minutes to be able to pay for it. You can sit down and have a kind of a cold beer conversation.
I think mine's no longer cold.
But the point with it and getting the word out and stuff that's going on, and I think with what's going on here local with you guys, and like I said with Kyle, when he talked about some of the stuff that he can do with making someone like me look good, which is pretty tough. I got a face for radio, but no, in all seriousness, for what he can do for digital and for some of the marketing experience that he's got.
Kyle, he's a genius. I mean, I mince no words. He's a technology genius. He's a marketing genius. Kyle Ranny is an amazing young man, and he will go a long ways in whatever direction that he goes, because he's just phenomenal.
And the nice part is it's a nice compliment, where you have the communication piece and the market piece to be able to help it grow, and develop and talk positive things about the entire. I just, it'll be curious to see where this is at in 2 to 3 years, but knowing where it was at a year, 2 years ago, to see where it is now, I mean, Todd's almost got to pitch this, because I being myself in a microphone, and now all of a sudden, he's got people. There's a place here to where we can have conversations. Right. He's still out in the community.
He was doing this out of his apartment. Right.
And his bougie apartment, as I refer to it. So
and now we're in the park building, the nostalgic, historic park building.
Mm-hmm. See, you got to talk to Glenwood Chamber and tell them that you need a space down there, so that that way you can bring people in.
I don't know. They built this amazing studio for the Still Serving Iowa Veterans show, and that's where we're sitting today, is here in the studio that Kyle and Todd put together, and you can catch Still Serving Iowa Veterans on Facebook too. That's the name of the Facebook page, and tune in. Darlene McMartin.
Yes.
Another commonality between you and I. She's, speaking of genius, she was the Director of Veterans Affairs here in Pot County for 28 years, and she Jerry Hansen down in Montgomery County says Darlene's forgotten more than most VSOs ever know.
Hey, listen, I just wanted to save a few bucks at Home Depot with veteran on my driver's license.
Yeah.
You came back and gave me my medical record 25 years ago. They said, "Yeah, you were in the Navy. You weren't in long enough. We're not going to give you squat, to where they went back and reran my stuff." And all of a sudden, she, was able to get a rating. And she's worked with my son Hayden, and she's worked with, a lot of veterans.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how big of an asset she is, for veterans in the community.
You bet, and she's still at it.
And you just got the thing is, she's a busy person. You just got to reach out and talk to her, and what fantastic. And there's a lot of people in the state like that, but particularly around here, if she's not in your point of contact, you're not doing yourself any favors.
She's a good one, and has retired from that now, but continues to help. She's the chair on the Iowa State Commission of Veterans Affairs through the Iowa Department of Veterans Affairs, and also the Iowa Veterans Foundation, who sponsors our show. But now co-hosting this, still serving Iowa veterans with me, and I was 5 years veteran service officer in Fremont County by default, because there wasn't a veteran to do that at the time, which was my joy to be able to step up. But Darlene was my mentor, and she taught me a lot, and just I can't say enough, like you. I can't say enough good about her. But yeah, we're very fortunate to have her on for this. And anyway.
Well, if you ever drive by my house, just so you know, I got 4 flags in my house. I got the American flag, I got my Hawkeye flag, I've got the Iowa flag, and I got the Marine flag. He goes, "Why don't you fly the Navy flag?" I said, "Well, I got 2 kids that are Marines, so I know where I served, but it's like, okay, I want to support my kids. So if you ever drive by, well, he's Navy, but he's got Marine flags in front of his house. It's like, well,
that's why.
There's a reason why. Yes, I'm proud of my Navy stuff. If you pop in my shop at home, you see my Navy stuff, but then you got, the Marine stuff and stuff. My wife's got a whole montage on the wall.
That's wonderful.
Stuff, so,
that's wonderful that she does that, and I bet she's really proud of you and your sons and your service.
Most of the time, sometimes
Well, I bet you can maybe rub her hair the wrong way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You kind of say what you think when you think it most of the time.
Yeah,
so.
and I
mince no words.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to filter, you came to the wrong person. It's just like, if you want to tell a secret, I'm probably not the first person you should tell. So
yeah, that's what I like about you.
Yeah.
And thank you for being instrumental in getting me involved here, because you were instrumental in that, and you were an encouragement in my life when I needed an encouragement. So I appreciate you, appreciate your friendship, and I'm very thankful for you coming along to sponsor our show, and we'll try to get you on that veterans show, get you sponsoring that veterans show too.
See, I had to put you. See, I put you through some heck before you came here.
You did.
But it's came around. I'm not this bitter old guy, that just yells. So some people in my franchise might think that, but that's for another day.
Well, your yelling wasn't at me, so that would have made a difference for me. But anyway, I can appreciate the outspoken. You don't have to worry what Travis is thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But here's what I tell people in Mills County, and anybody around here, Counts Plus, whatever, if you ever got a chance to come in and spend some time and talk to Darlene, and have her come and talk about.
She's not doing. In here.
Yeah, I said Darlene. I meant Carlene. I meant you. So
okay.
My point is, if you're in Mills County and want to get people to know about you, kind of your story, or someone it is, reach out to her, because you're looking for stuff like that.
I am. am, and thank you. And I love to sit and talk with people. I do love. I love to make friends and have a conversation. So, listen, thank you for joining us this evening on Mills County Roots on a Friday afternoon. Here's to you.
Cheers.
Travis Waldstein. And I'm Carlene Hall. I'm here with Travis Waldstein of Air Serve Heating and Air Conditioning and Waldstein Plumbing.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.